Here is the rule of thumb to live by. When you are setting those priorities for the day, no more than 3 priority tasks for the day, and you do them first. I call these my T3P, top 3 priorities. These are going to be things that move the needle on your strategy. This is not simple tasks like checking email. These are usually bigger tasks. Hi, I'm Chris LeBrun, your host of the Holistic Productivity Podcast. As someone who's never been afraid of dreaming big and going for it all, I often find myself with a lot on my plate. I'm a husband and father, a nonprofit fundraiser, and an entrepreneur. What I've realized is my view of productivity was pretty toxic. After decades of believing that in order to do more, you had to work harder, I began to see productivity as this beautiful thing. Holistic productivity is the idea that you can accomplish your professional, personal, and purpose-driven goals in a healthy way, and doing so will make you happier and more fulfilled. Join me each week as we break down myths about productivity, share practical tips for maximizing your time, energy, and focus, and hear from others about their productivity journey. This is the Holistic Productivity Podcast. Thank you so much for being here for episode number 7 of the Holistic Productivity Podcast. I'm your host, Chris LeBrun. Thank you for being here. I just love having you here and talking about productivity, helping you reach your goals a little bit easier and a little bit more efficiently. Have you followed the show yet? That's the best way to stay engaged, to get the new episodes when they drop. We are on all major podcast platforms. Basically, anywhere you like to listen to podcasts, you can find the Holistic Productivity Podcast. Be sure to follow and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And I want to take a minute before we get started just to say thank you so much to everybody who has rated the show 5 stars. We've gotten a couple of those already, and so I just appreciate that because it lets other people know that this is a show that is helping you, and maybe it can help them as well. And that's really what we're all about here at Holistic Productivity. This episode, we continue our 6-part series on the fundamentals. These are things that are part of the holistic productivity framework. So far, we have gone through, if you've been following along, we've defined our goals, projects, and tasks. That was episode number 4. In episode 5, we looked at how to create a goal roadmap to help you achieve your goals. And then we talked about planning a winning week with Sunday strategy in episode number 6. I will link all of those shows in this series on our fundamentals in the show notes. A lot of great stuff there, so check that out. It will be holisticproductivity.com/7 for episode number 7. Today, we're going to get a little bit more granular and look at your time management each day. So let's set the table. We've created our goal roadmap, and we've done our Sunday strategy. And as part of that process, we have tasks, projects assigned to each day. Now, it's important to know what your priorities are so you know what to focus on. And this is not a difficult concept, but it's one that we often ignore. And I'll admit I'm guilty of that as well. Here is the rule of thumb to live by. When you are setting those priorities for the day, no more than 3 priority tasks for the day, and you do them first. I call these my T3P, top 3 priorities. These are going to be things that move the needle on your strategy. This is not simple tasks like checking email. These are usually bigger tasks. For me, as a fundraiser, I might have one of my T3P to write an appeal letter. That usually takes a majority of the day to get the first draft done. Now, I'm not just writing that whole time. I'm doing research. I'm maybe talking to colleagues to get information from them, writing a part of that. So, but that is one of my T3P, one of my top 3 priorities. Why are we only limiting that to 3 priorities? Well, too many priorities is not realistic or sustainable. We physically can't do more than that, especially if we want to be successful at them. If you have more than 3 priorities, it's easier for them to be less strategic. Now we're starting to get down into the weeds. Maybe we're throwing some maintenance tasks on there. Only having 3 tasks makes us set clear priorities, and we're going to be selecting the things that actually move the needle, so that we are ensuring progress towards our goal. Now, if you've created a goal roadmap, your T3P may come from your milestones. Again, this is the best way to ensure that your projects and your tasks are directly related to your goals. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you're only going to do 3 things all day. Please don't go to your boss or your HR director and start quoting this show as a rationale for only doing 3 things. That's not what I'm saying. There will be other tasks. Again, maybe some of those maintenance things will come in, sending emails, creating spreadsheets, prepping for a meeting. I have a running list of tasks, and I work on those in between working on my T3P. Again, if I'm working on writing an appeal, I need to take a break from time to time. And so that's when I shift gears and focus on those other less strategic things to be able to accomplish those during the day. That's it. That's the strategy. It's very simple. Again, T3P, top 3 priorities, and focus on those first. So if it's that simple, Chris, you may be asking, why is it so hard to do regularly? Well, this gets into a little bit of a mindset thing. Your priorities tend to be harder jobs. Sending an email is very easy. There may not be any risk associated with that. Doing small tasks are safe. There's also psychological effect that happens because of years of toxic productivity mindset that we have ingrained, right? Getting 10 things done feels like we've accomplished something. But this is short term. It feels good in the moment, but later we realize that we were just busy. We weren't productive. And those are very different things. So, again, making your T3P part of your habits that you do regularly may be one of the biggest game changers for your productivity. I recommend it to everybody, and it's so simple. You just have to focus and make sure that you are actually setting 3 and then working on those first and putting all the other tasks around it. Another time management strategy I recommend to clients is tracking their detours. Now, this may be a new concept for many of you. It's not a time management strategy that will help you on a daily basis. It's a review and reflection strategy that helps you spot bad habits and identify broken systems. This means it's a long-term improvement strategy for your productivity. And if that sounds like a lot of work, I've got good news. It's very easy. Just keep a separate list that tracks your detours. These are the distractions that kept you from being productive during the day. Maybe you are scrolling on your phone. Maybe you're talking to a colleague by the water cooler. These are our distractions. Other types of detours could be emergency tasks that you weren't planning on doing today. The boss comes into your office and springs an urgent project on you. Again, this is not something that you had planned on, and so it gets in the way of completing your priorities. The other might be technology glitches. The database or the phones are down, the website is offline. What does tracking your detours do for you? Well, there's a couple things that you do. It gives you context at the end of your day. When you're reflecting and looking at what you did today and you see a bunch of things that you plan to do, but you didn't get done. Now you can understand why you didn't get those things accomplished. It gives you that context, um, to understand why you weren't as productive according to your list as you had hoped to be. This helps you stay positive if things were out of your control. But it also helps you identify patterns in your detours. Are you always scrolling on your phone? Does the same coworker always have emergency projects that they need your help on? Knowing where the common detours are helps you take action and solve them. Okay. Now, a third thing that it does is it also gives you a list of things to work on tomorrow. I don't always respond to those emergency, quote unquote, tasks right away. If I'm writing, it can be a major break of my focus for that project. So it's good to write it down so I don't forget it, but I can focus on that tomorrow. I can add it to my plan. I can even make it one of my T3P if I need to. Now, I have a special section in my holistic productivity planner that is for detours. So everything is right there on my daily pages. It keeps me organized. Again, when I'm looking back at the end of the day, everything is right there. But it's so simple. You can use anything. You can use a scrap of paper. You can keep a list on your phone notes. The key is to make sure that you review it later. And that's why I love having it as a built-in part of the planner. T3P, our top three priorities and detours, are two important strategies that you can use each day to keep you more productive. It's going to identify your top three priorities, no more than three. They should be aligned with your goals, and having three keeps you from getting overwhelmed. Keeping track of your detours or your distractions helps you understand why you weren't as productive as you thought. You can spot negative trends and take corrective action on those to improve your habits. And it also creates a list of unfinished tasks to add in for tomorrow's plan. Use these two simple strategies to help you on your productivity journey. They aren't complicated, but it takes consistency to make them work for you. So keep at it. Keep working until they become a habit that you do each and every day. Well, that's it for the show today. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, check out the show notes, holisticproductivity.com/7. We'll have all of the links for things that I've talked about in this episode, including our series on the fundamentals of holistic productivity, there in the show notes. Be sure that you have subscribed on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube so that you can get the next episode when it drops next Tuesday. You're going to want to be here for our next episode. We talk about 2 secret weapons of holistic productivity. So, again, subscribe, like, follow, make sure that you get those notifications as well. If you liked the show and found it valuable, please do me the favor of rating the show. We would love to see 5 stars on that rating. But again, that helps other people find it and get the benefit from the show as well. Be sure to follow the show on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, LinkedIn, YouTube. You can get more productivity tips and motivation, inspiration throughout the week. So be sure to check that out as well. And again, thank you so much for listening in. As always, my goal on this show is to help you dream big, plan smart, and live fully. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.